Okay, so we're now going to talk about reflexology and introduce the benefits of this to people so that people can understand a little bit more about it, because it's a bit more than just a massage, yeah? So we've got Gemma joining us today from the Doubletree team. Now Gemma also runs nationally and for the county team. She's a very competitive athlete. So naturally, Gemma, why don't you explain to Anne what problems you get with your feet after you've been training or being one of those long runs?
So when I've been training for quite a while, long runs, especially over the winter, my feet tend to get quite swollen after a run, quite sore on the bottom, obviously going out for long runs, quite flat.
Okay, so what I'd recommend for you, the reason reflexology will work for you, is the fact that we do lymph drainage and we're working on the nervous system, and that's what you will actually get a build-up of fluid on your feet because of pounding the streets. So that's where reflexology will work. Yeah,
and I think what we need to also do is just explain to our audience what lymph drainage is. This drainage idea, people think, well, where's it go? All we're really talking about is moving it back through the system circulation and then out through the normal channels and stopping the build-up happening, which is where the swelling is.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
It's about the build-up of water. So all I'm doing is stimulating the system to work that bit quicker with it.
That's right. Brilliant.
That's what we're doing it for.
So Gemma, we talked to you earlier about your running, but obviously, you know, you're working at the Doubletree in Milton Keynes. No doubt you rushed off your feet a lot looking after all the customers here. So what we're going to talk about now is the benefits of reflexology for keeping people moving in the workplace without them having lots and lots of sore feet. Isn't that right, Anne?
Absolutely.
Right, so why don't we talk through that with our audience so we can see, not just for sport, but ultimately for people in normal everyday life, keep the feet moving, keep not so sore, how that helps.
Absolutely. With reflexology, the reason it works again in the workplace, you're on your feet all the time, you get the lymph build up within that. So therefore, by me releasing it with the reflexology, it will release the lymph. Again, we're doing the drainage because you get very, very sore feet in shoes all day. And this is where we need the recommendation of the shoes that you wear as well. And if you're working in an office, you also have high heels on, therefore you're putting strain on your calf muscles. So with reflexology again, it just releases the pressure that you're putting on your feet every day. So if you'd just like to raise your feet, you can see we have two chairs, one opposite the other. I have the feet in front of me, and I will be working on the drainage as in the last clip. So again, this time, I'm going to do some calf movements as well. So we're going to do drainage using the palm of my hand. Okay? And again, I'm going to use palm pressure, which is actually a Thai move. So there's the palm pressure. How does that feel, Gemma?
Lovely.
Good. Because this is where the tension is. And as I say, if you're wearing heels in work, and even for men in shoes with the flatter heel, you're putting strain on your calves and your lower legs at all times. So again, because reflexology is linked with acupressure, we use both methods within this. And again, I'm stimulating the systems for them to do their work by themselves.
Okay, so now we understand, Anne, how that works. Why don't we let you actually show us all how a massage takes place?
Okay, I can do that. So we always start at the top of the foot, okay? Because we're draining down, we're draining out, we're helping that fluid to move. So I do what we call a prayer position. And also, when you'll find they get build up around the ankle. A lot of runners get build up around the ankle of fluid. So therefore, now another move that we use in reflexology is actually what we call thumb. So we use the thumb a lot to drain. Now this is quite hard, you can see. You can see that the skin is actually going in. This is what we call the thumb walking, and it's the most used move in reflexology.
So that's probably that's kind of good one. I like you're pointing that out to people. So that's kind of possibly getting the detailed muscles, the fine muscles, so that we sometimes forget about, right?
Yeah.
Excellent.
And the nerves.
Right.
Because reflexology basically works because all the nerves end up in the feet.
Yeah.
So therefore, by doing the whole of the foot, we're stimulating the nervous system, which actually works with all the systems of the body.
Feels a lot lighter on my feet, and I feel like I can stand for a lot longer without it being painful.
Yeah, and I think the thing that people miss is the soft benefits. That if you're having a heavy day on your feet, do you feel sometimes that comes across to your customers and that you're not quite as ready and bright?
Definitely.
And yeah. So if people in the workplace, particularly our managers and bosses, realise if they keep us fresh and active, actually going to get a better performance out of us?
Absolutely.
Excellent. What do you feel about that, Anne? Do you think that we're going to be able to help people in a preventative way?
Absolutely. And
Great.
I think as well, it will prevent any injuries, because if you don't look after your skeletal system, you've got injuries via that and tiredness. And tiredness will then come fatigue and then illness. So it's an on-rolling thing.
Yeah.
So if you can have one of these once a week, then that will just help. I mean, once a day obviously would be better, but once a week would be perfect.
And of course, we've got to point out the obvious again. The feet are the thing we spend most of our time on, so we need to look after them, and it comes from the bottom up, and hence then we're fresher and brighter to do our work well with our customers and colleagues.
Yeah, and again, you can use the relaxation exercises that we do in the yoga to help while you work as well.
Thanks very much, Anne,
Okay.
and thank you very much for your time today, Gemma.